Zillow doesn't usually fail immediately. It fails after you've already spent a ton of time and money. That's why so many agents feel confused instead of angry. If Zillow didn't work on day one, nobody would use it. The problem is that it works just enough to make you think that it's going to continue working, or maybe it'll work next month or the month after that. Then slowly the results flatten, the leads get colder, and ultimately more costly. You're working harder for a lower return. So from a business perspective, let's talk about why this initial spike actually happens in the first place. When you first start with Zillow, there's three things working in your favor. First, you're new in the system. New advertisers get early visibility. You're injected into rotation and the platform doesn't even have enough data to fully optimize against you. Second, your expectations are low. A few conversations feel like momentum and one closing feels like proof. And third, you're buying attention, not demand. Zillow owns all of the traffic. You're basically just renting it. So early transactions, or really any closings at all, feels like validation for the money that you're spending, but structurally nothing has actually changed within your business. So now let's talk about the actual plateau. So the reason for the spike is obviously you're a new user, right? Zillow wants to basically give you a win. In business, we call this a quick win. We can see this as something that you would also do for your clients because buying or selling a house takes a long time. When you get a new buyer in the door, maybe you give them some sort of benefit right off of the bat. I don't know, maybe you take them for coffee or you get them a gift. That's basically a quick win, showing them that, like basically spiking their dopamine, because you know that the actual win of getting the home or selling their home isn't going to come for a couple months. And so you give them something to basically satisfy their needs or their wait time in the long run. Basically, that's what Zillow's doing, is they're giving you a quick win, a quick closing, so that there's a few things that are going to happen. You're going to think, oh, wow, this is amazing. This is going to keep happening. And essentially they have a lot of leverage within the business transaction. But after a few months, tons of agents have told me that they seem to see something shift within the platform and ultimately the results that they get with Zillow. You didn't change your script, you didn't stop following up, and you didn't forget how to convert leads overnight. But the cost per lead starts to rise, the quality seems inconsistent, and the volume stops scaling. This is the moment most agents start to blame themselves when they shouldn't. So let's actually talk about why this plateau happens. First off, Zillow isn't designed to grow your business. It's designed to monetize agent competition. Let me elaborate. As more agents enter your zip code, your visibility gets diluted. You're not rewarded for any loyalty. Your competition is a consistently tightened auction. Because of the demand for other agents and the contracts in place that Zillow has, Zillow doesn't need you to win long term. They just want you to stay long enough to either not be able to get out of their original agreement or keep paying them. That's typically why the decline in results seems quiet and not dramatic. So let's actually talk about the misinterpretation that a ton of agents make when going with Zillow. Most agents interpret early success as a sustainable system. And although Zillow does have the ability to give agents a consistent system, it's not so much as good for their profit margins. So in other words, the system is designed like this. If they realistically wanted to give agents consistent results month over month over month, they have the demand from buyers and sellers on their platform to organically do so. But they would make more money if they didn't do that, essentially. They gave a more dull result, but kept a ton more of the profit, essentially. So in other words, it's not really a system, it's more of like a spike. When it comes to marketing systems, there's a difference between this produced a deal one time and this is something that I can build off of, right? You get a deal or you get a system that you can actually build off of. You can upgrade, you get data, you can go back and you can go forth and you can actually improve the system. Because of the lack of ownership, there's not really anything you can do about it. You just have to sit there and hope that Zillow does its job, which ultimately just typically is not going to be the best when you could have your own system, for example, and, build off of it long term. And honestly, this is where it messes with a lot of agents mentally. Because the decline is gradual, you start asking a lot of the wrong questions. Instead of asking, is this structurally scalable? You start asking, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my conversion process? What's wrong with my sales? What's wrong with my marketing? But nothing changed, nothing broke. You just hit the ceiling of a rented platform, essentially. And honestly, the real issue isn't Zillow, it's self, it's dependence. Any system where your income relies on one platform staying hot, fairly priced, and competitive forever eventually puts you in a weak position. Especially when you can't control the audience, the data that you're getting, the follow-up path, and things along those lines. There's one thing I've noticed amongst top agents is they don't avoid platforms or systems or agencies, they just avoid dependence. They understand the difference between just lead access and a rented system versus lead ownership and a partnership and something they can build off of and data that they get to keep long term. They build systems where traffic, follow-up, and conversion live outside any single marketplace. That way, performance doesn't quietly decay or decline, it compounds. If you want something that doesn't depend on a platform being consistently hot, it's actually your own system that you have full control over. There will be a link down in the description. Give you a little bit of an idea of what we do. Essentially, we build you a 3-step live transfer funnel for real estate agents and brokers to help their agents, where you actually control the type of leads that are coming in through the system, whether you want buyers, whether you want sellers, and what specific type of buyer and seller do you want based on the stuff that's happening in your market. Is it relocation? Is it Airbnb potential? Is it people selling at a specific price point? Downsizers that maybe want to buy another home? All of this stuff actually matters. And so we basically find the specific lead that you're looking for, and then we have a team that pre-vets them, ask them price point, time frame, motivation, not working with another agent in your market, the whole 9 yards to basically qualify someone. And then essentially what we'll do is ask if we can connect them with you and your team, or you, a professional agent in their area that can help them with next steps. If they say yes, then we do a 3-way call. So we do all of the top of the funnel lead generation for all of our partnering agents, but it's not just strictly what we think will work. It's actually data based, and we want to use ideas and angles that you also want to work with as well. So if you don't want to work with downsizers, we're not just going to shove downsizer leads in your funnel. We're going to look at the actual type of business that you want to be dealing with, that you actually work good with and you convert. And then we generate those type of people, qualify those people, and then pass them off over a 3-way phone call. And then on the back end, we have a full A to Z system handling all the follow-up, nurture. We can integrate directly into your CRM so that you don't have to manually type any notes, manually add any tags. And then we take care of all of the back end, like nurture sequences and drips and everything, to keep you top of mind, long term, and actually make sure that these people that, don't convert today are easier to convert in the long run. So it's basically a full A to Z system. And the cool thing is that you are the owner of it. At the end of the day, you keep everything, all of the ads data, all of the angles, all of the leads, all of the systems, everything A to Z. We're really trying to solve a long-term problem for agents, which is having systems, having data, actually owning your clientele. And honestly, one of the biggest ones, not being strapped in any long contract, no 6-month, no 9-month contract or anything along those sorts. And also we have a lot of options. So we have options of getting started for free. We have options of paid programs if you want in for a discount, which most agents just get started for free and then upgrade at the end. There'll be a link down in the description if you want to try something like that. That is more unlike Zillow. It's not something that they own, where they have all the control, and ultimately if it stops working one day, you're kind of crap out of luck because you have no ownership and no control. And absolutely no pressure. I mean, if Zillow's going great for you right now and you have absolutely no signs of any downtrend, I guess milk the cow while you can. But if you're with Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, OpCity, or any company where you feel like you did get some results at the start but it's slowly started to dwindle down, I just want to save you, ahead of time. Even if it's not with us, realistically, you should start building your own systems. You should start working on or working with a partner on something that you actually get to own at the end of the day. And so I'll just end off by saying, most likely, if you are with one of those companies, it's not your fault. It's primarily the structure in which those companies are built off of. Their goal is to make money off of real estate agents paying an upfront fee in most cases, or, just on closings of the top producing teams and agents. Most of their revenue is coming from humongous teams, not solo agents. If you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments. If you have any video ideas, please drop those down there too. Other than that, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks. Enjoy the free content.